Rob Van Dam, listen to True Hill Heat. Pow.
Hello everyone, it's the hardcore legend Mick Foley wishing a nice day to everyone there, right there at True Heel Heat. Yeah!
Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat YouTube and Facebook for Impact Bound for Glory 2023 preview. We're here to break down tomorrow night's big pay-per-view, the biggest show of Impact Wrestling's 2023. We are here to discuss it. It's going to be live from Chicago, Illinois. So I had to bring in an expert. We had TNA champions introducing us to start off the show, and we have a TNA champion here. Macklin backed out of the matchup, so he is an uncrowned Impact World Champion. You've seen him over on Fightful overbooked, and he is the man when it comes to Impact Wrestling over at Fightful. It is our boy, our favorite Canadian, Joel Pearl.
My God, there can't be a better intro than that. I'd like to thank my dad, Scott D'Amore, for getting me booked on this show and for giving me a TNA World Championship opportunity.
Yes. But Steve Macklin backed out of it, so you're the uncrowned champion.
I am. Steve Macklin is a coward. I've discovered this past week that everyone from Jersey who wrestles on the Impact roster is either out to fight me or are a bunch of cowards both at the same time. So shout out to you, Deanna Perrazzo, Steve Macklin, Tasha Steeles. I know you're all after me. That's okay. I'll see you in November when you go do IPWF in Toronto.
Better watch your back. That's his territory. That's his territory right there. But yes, we're here to discuss the show I am very excited about. Impact Bound for Glory 2023 tomorrow night in Chicago, Illinois. It is the WrestleMania for Impact Wrestling, the biggest show of the year. And honestly, I feel like this is one of the greatest cards Impact Wrestling has ever put together. So we're going to break everything down. We're going to give you our predictions, and we're going to tell you what we think the surprise they are teasing, on the same week that the good brother Evil over at WrestlePurist puts out the report that Impact Wrestling has sent an offer to CM Punk. They are teasing a surprise for Chicago at Bound for Glory. Oh boy, we're going to talk all about that, plus much more. So leave your comments in the live chat if you're with us live. Of course, if you want to show us some love, you can send a super chat donation. We are a self-funded channel, so there's always helps out the contributors that you usually see on screen with us here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, and it helps the channel grow. We'll try to highlight as many of your comments as possible, but those super chat donations are so important. And of course, drop the like on this video if you're watching us live, watching us on demand. Remember to share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family, and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, I got to highlight one of these comments in the live chat. G. Loke, he's actually in my neighborhood in the Bronx, and he said, Joel Pearl, he's the homie. Literally, that's all he said to me. He said, I've been watching the Fightful Overbooked, and I watch Jeremy and Joel. He's the homie. That's all he said to me the other day.
High praise. I'll take it. I will take it. Listen, man, if anyone's going to shout us out when we're not on the internet, I am going to take that, and I'm going to put that feather in my cap and walk around with it all day.
Yes. I won't tell you what gang he's affiliated with, but he is affiliated with a gang. But yes, we also got in the chat Ramble Mania show. Shout out to him, saying shout out to the True Heels. But yes, we got a lot to discuss with Impact Bound for Glory 2023. As always, with these pay-per-view previews, we like to gauge the buzz level for these shows. So from 0 to 10, what's your buzz level for Bound for Glory 2023, Joe?
I'm about a 9 for this one. I think this is a really, really strong card. You mentioned it earlier, probably one of the best ones that they've put together in a long time. There's a little bit of everything for everyone on the card, and there's a lot of intrigue because a lot of the title matches can go either way depending on how you've been watching the show and where you think things are going. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to watching and talking about it.
Yes, I'm very much just looking forward to, and like you said, this the all-around card, a little bit something for everyone, and I would say probably their best card they've put together since like the aughts, the 2000s. I think that was the last time that they had this great of a card for one of their big shows. We got Frantic World joining us, saying what's up, SB3 Joel and the chat, and of course, if you're with us live, sound off with your predictions for Impact Bound for Glory. My buzz level, I'm at about an 8.5. But I may get to a 9 like Joel by the end of this preview. I like to leave that little bit of wiggle room. But we'll start off here with one of the bigger matches that has become a tradition at Impact Bound for Glory. Joel, we got the Call Your Shot Gauntlet 2023. Basically, this is a intergender battle royal that will have men and women involved, and the winner will gain a trophy that will give them an opportunity at any Impact Championship anytime they want. It's basically their version of Money in the Bank. We've seen Moose call his shot and win the Impact World Championship at Bound for Glory. Last year, Bully Ray won the matchup, and Bully Ray will be a part of this year's matchup. You got Brian Myers, Eric Young, Dirty Dango, Jake Something, Jordan Grace, Joe Hendry, Frankie Kazarian, Eddie Edwards, Giselle Shaw, Jody Threat, Kenny King, and Kylan King. Who I know that's not all the competitors. I think it's usually about 20 or so competitors, so we may get some surprises in there. What surprises do you think we see in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet? Is this where the surprise that they were teasing on BTI is going to show up, and who do you think is going to win?
So first of all, we got about 15 out of the 20 entrants announced. If you did watch Impact this past week, and I watched BTI, and we clown on our pal George Iceman every single week. I love the man. I've run into him multiple times on the street. It's very strange in Toronto. Toronto's a weird place, man. You run into wrestlers and wrestling adjacent people just out having a coffee. But anyway, Mr. Iceman was in the bathroom doing his intel, and he was like, we got travel plans for someone, but we don't know who. As for who should win the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, I got 2 names, and those 2 names are ones you've been seeing and you've been waiting for, and that's Jake Something and Jordan Grace. They've been building Jake Something since he came back to Impact. When he did the Ultimate X match and basically got his dick punched a million times by Alan Angels, good for him. But he's been having good matches. He had a standout match against Sonata at Emergence, and then he ended up teaming with Sonata the next tapings and had a good showing in the 6-man tag. He just keeps growing and building. He had the match with Dango and he beat Dango, and he's just building his way up. I could see Jake Something winning it, and they continue the build. Jordan Grace is Jordan Grace. Now's the time for her to move past the Knockouts division and start moving towards going after the Impact World Championship. There's a sour taste in Impact's mouth when it comes to a woman holding the main World Championship. Sure. And now is the opportunity that Impact has to start building the new name, the next name to hold the quote unquote men's championship, the World Heavyweight Championship in Impact. And that's Jordan Grace. It would look good. It would feel good. She's been on the rise. She's been a main player on that show forever. So she's the other person that steps out to me.
Yeah, I think those are definitely 2 of the favorites. I will say, I think they've done a good job with putting a couple of key threats or like dark horses in here as well. I had the opportunity to chat with Giselle Shaw last week. The video went up yesterday, and I talked about her whole story in Impact Wrestling has been about her chasing championships and not able to get it. And the Call Your Shot Gauntlet gives her the opportunity to either go for the tag team titles with Savannah Evans or go for the Impact World Championship and finally win that opportunity. I think that she has a great chance. Frankie Kazarian coming off the heels of that matchup with Eddie Edwards and finishing their rivalry. I can easily see him winning the Call Your Shot gauntlet and going by his promo on the Go Home show. I can see him calling your shot for the tag team titles with him and Edwards. I can see something like that happening because of how he talked about they need to lead Impact Wrestling together. But he also has his whole journey to get back to the World Championship, a title that he's never won. And he's like the only guy left in Impact that's kind of like a legend that hasn't won the Impact World Championship. All that with saying, I'm 100% with you on the latter. I think Jordynne Grace is the plug here because then you have a Call Your Shot winner who can cash it in on anything. On the Knockouts World Championship, on the Knockouts Tag Team titles, on the World Championship, on the X Division Championship. I think that Jordynne Grace just fits the build, and that's a great way to kind of give her a big win after her return, after that big win over Deonna Purrazzo, finally getting that monkey off her back at Victory Road. I think this would be the next step for her to break out of the Knockouts division.
Yeah, it's a big, believable like opportunity that she would go after literally any title, literally anybody, and it would work. I would love to see her go after the Digital Media Championship once again.
Exactly. You know that's gonna happen. We got G-Look in the chat. He says SB3. Thank you for that, brother. We love Joel in our hood. There you go. There you go.
Hey,
look at that. You need to frame this.
I will.
Frame this, show the wife, put it on social media. Like you are loved in the Bronx. In the Bronx, New York.
God bless. I'll come and visit soon, I promise.
Myron Kid saying it's good to see Bound for Glory get a great card for a change. Seemed like Impact treated Slammiversary as the biggest pay-per-view instead of Bound for Glory for a long time. I feel like the pandemic changed that because Slammiversary was the first show back in 2020. So I think that they kept with that and they kept putting these big matches like, 2021 had Kenny Omega and Sammy Callahan and the Jay White appearance. And even like, I forget what happened last year. I think last year was Eric Young and Josh Alexander, but you had all the guest appearances from like AJ Styles and people like that. So yeah, Bound for Glory felt like it was getting pushed to the SummerSlam part, but now it actually feels like their big show again.
Yeah, this is the first time in a while. I think you nailed it on the head. Just the timing from the pandemic coming out until now, they've kind of reset and they've refigured it. We didn't talk about, by the way, who we think our special appearances might be for the Call Your Shot entrance. Do you have any names that you're gravitating towards?
I am thinking, well, I know that a lot of the WWE releases that a lot of people would think of, they're not able to because they're still in their 90 days or 30 days. Or I don't know if even the 30 days has expired. But the people that I immediately think of is like the Grizzled Young Vets. I feel like the Grizzled Young Vets would fit in so great here with the tag team division because when we get to the tag team titles, I feel like there's no bigger matchup than that in the tag team division that you need a fresh team in here. And I feel like the Grizzled Young Vets would be the best pickup for Impact right now.
Yeah, I agree. And they've started working a couple of shows here and there. They're doing DPW. They did Deadlock Pro. They did DPW. They'll be back there again to challenge for their tag titles. If they want to work Impact, that's an easy schedule to work while making indie appearances. You're not committed, but you're going to be part of things. And if they want to work the UK, well, they can work the UK next week when Impact goes to the UK and does a little bunch of shows there.
And they have the whole prototype there for them in Subculture, the team that they very familiar with from feuding with them all throughout the UK scene and NXT UK. They have gone in and out, but they've really been very prominent in the UK independent scene. So if they kind of want to go everywhere, you're right. Like Impact is the best place where they can kind of go in and out as they please.
Yeah. Is there anyone else that gets you for Call Your Shot?
I like Jake something, but I feel like him being first is to set up him going to the end and losing instead of him going to the end and winning. So I like his chances. And I will say, I might be in the minority here, for Dirty Dango's new crew. It popped me. It popped me. I dig it. I dig it. I dig it because I'm like, yo, if there was ever a WWE in 2010's failed superstars gimmick, gang, it would be Vladimir Kozlov and Fandango.
And I said this on Twitter. I was like, this is perfect. Having Oleg, the former Kozlov, teaming up with the former Fandango, because Kozlov was another guy who was brought in super serious, was going to be a world beater, and they turned him into a comedy act. They pushed him out. They did the exact same thing with Fandango. And they, his best work was when he teamed up with Breeze, and like it worked, but he was never super serious again. So bringing in this Oleg Prudius and having him be the accountant, it's just perfect. I'm really a big fan of this, and I know people aren't big on Dango, but I am. Can I give you a couple names that I think will show up in this Call Your Shot gauntlet?
Yeah.
So there are a few obvious ones. Edward Edwards was one. Taylor Wilde coming back to avenge her attack from Kylan King. That's one.
I can see that.
Jonathan Gresham hasn't shown up yet. We'd like to see him maybe cheat his way through the match. I'll give you a couple random ones. Samurai Del Sol is from Chicago. Can have him come back. Laredo Kid is Laredo Kid. Simon Miller is one if they want to fly his ass in because Joe Hendry's in the match. Get him out. Do a little spot. They've announced that Simon Miller is going to have a match against Joe Hendry at Turning Point. Looking forward to that. And then Juventud Guerrera.
What? Really?
Juice will be at the Fallout tapings because they're doing a Hispanic Heritage Month tie-in, which I told you off the air, and I'll repeat it here. Whenever Cresta Star and I do our post show on Fightful.com for Impact, I tell Cresta, what happens when a luchador faces anybody in Impact Wrestling? They lose. And what's going to happen when those luchadors have a 6-man tag match where it's all luchadors? The design's going to come in and probably beat them all up, and it'll be a no contest, and it'll be a reset for the design. Juvi is part of the group of luchadors coming in. I can see them introducing Juvi as one of the entrants for Call Your Shots.
I could see that as well. I could, but that would be that's when you say toward the end that would get a nice little pop from that Chicago crowd. We got Steven who says picking Eric Young in the chat. I don't see it, honestly. After that interview, I forgot where it was, but he talked about the reason why he left, and he said never say never. I'm saying now that the changes is going down after the Endeavor deal in WWE, it just feels like how he's been used since he came back to Impact. That is he's just here for a cup of coffee until things cleared out at WWE.
He said he was there on a handshake deal, and him and Scott were just like, we're playing it by ear. So it's possible that Eric comes back. I think it'd be hilarious if Eric Young is like back in Impact for a minute, just going to do some producing, and then I'm going to just jump right back into what I was supposed to do at WWE. Just let the Kiss Demon show up and take out Eric Young. That's how it should end.
I'm here for it. I do like the fact they have Eric Young teaming with Josh Alexander on the UK tour against the Guns. That's going to be great.
Yeah.
Another staple of Impact Wrestling and Impact Bound for Glory is the Monsters Ball, and it returns in 2023 as these 4 men will compete. As you have a person who is very accustomed to Monsters Ball. In fact, he won the first ever Monsters Ball at Bound for Glory in 2005. Rhino, he will face PCO, facing his rival Steve Macklin, facing Moose, who currently holds the briefcase from Feast and Fire for a world title opportunity. So who do you think pulls out the win here? And what have you thought about the build up to this matchup with Rhino feuding with Macklin? You got PCO still going out to Macklin. Now he's mixing it up with Moose, and they've got all these big men and come up with a good lineup for a Monsters Ball match here.
I'm going to say this with so much pain and suffering in my heart. Steve Macklin's going to win this match. Not only is Steve Macklin going to win this match, he is going to bury and beat PCO and effectively kill PCO.
Wow.
This is it. This is the end of the line for PCO. And then what's going to happen next is Macklin is going to go to Bully and be like, you're soft. I did the thing you couldn't do. What do you think of that? And it's going to be easy as that. And that's it. Moose is fine. Moose is a main man. He's got the briefcase. He just has to take a few, shots to whatever and do a table spot, whatever he needs to do. Rhino is Rhino. Rhino is listless right now because his tag team partner is about to leave the company as well. So who knows where that's going? But for me, for my money, it's Macklin getting that build. I think we're doing the simultaneous buildings of Macklin and Josh Alexander again, and we'll talk about when we get to the world title match, that those two will eventually meet, but it's still a ways off. But now the building begins.
All right. I do like that. I am going with Moose though to get the win because I feel like he needs those credibility type wins with this briefcase. I think to make a proper tease that he's gonna actually cash in successfully and win the world championship, he needs to get these big wins. I can see Macklin getting his heat and doing what you said, burying PCO to get his heat back after the matchup though. I can see that. Mixing both of our bookings here. Myron Kidd saying, where do y'all see PCO going after Impact?
Home. Take a nap. Maybe go hang out with his dogs. I don't know. Open a school.
Guys, it's quite obvious what's going to happen here. He's going to Ring of Honor to team up with the Righteous.
You know what, though? I wouldn't hate it.
I wouldn't hate it either. He's the monster of the Righteous. Come on, trios champions right there. Your 6-man, ROH 6-man. We got the team that's gonna beat the Elite for the 6-man tag team.
Don't the Righteous have a third man? Where's Stu Grayson? I know where he is physically. He's in Ottawa, but where is Stu Grayson for Ring of Honor?
What did he do wrong? Did he lie about his visa issues like AR Fox or something?
No, he's on the C4 card tonight. But where is Stu Grayson? You just gonna bring him out of Montreal in December and be like, remember him? And then they'll put the graphic up and be like, he's all Elite again.
Again.
I don't know what happened to Stu Grayson.
I don't know what I really don't. I don't get it at all. I've seen people on social media asking where he's at, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Maybe you should come to Impact like Allen Angels. But Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championships up for grabs as MK Ultra, Masha Slamovich, and Killer Kelly will face Tasha Steelz and Deonna Purrazzo. Purrazzo and Steelz are friends and decided to become a duo going against MK Ultra and going after the tag team championships. MK Ultra has kind of been like a revelation for these tag team titles, a stabling force after it kind of got mixed-moshed into the Coven and then the Decay and all that other stuff for a while. Now it feels like we have a team that they can build the division around, and this should be a really good matchup. Who you got?
SP3. You've been on In the Weeds. You've co-hosted several times. You are aware of the ITW streak. For those who don't know, if you appear on In the Weeds on Fightful Overbooked and you are a wrestler, a manager, whatever it is, if you're promoting something, you win your next match. We had Tasha Steelz on the show on Wednesday. Unfortunately, I have to agree with Stephen Chambers over here. Because MK Ultra, as I've said on other shows, they make you feel, not you, but they make certain people feel a certain way.
Yes.
Okay. And the way that they have run their programs and the way that they have done their pre-tapes and the way that they have made people feel, I don't think they're ready to get rid of them just yet as a tag team.
No, not after, especially that pre-tape that they did on the Go Home show. I was just like, yeah, how can you take the titles off of them? This act is working. It's working.
That's the problem. It's working in case of the ITW streak. Tasha Steelz is going to ruin the streak is really what I'm getting at. And that upsets me more than anything else on this whole card is that we are going to have MK Ultra retain, rightfully so, those Knockouts tag team titles. Yeah, there you go.
Seems like everybody's on the same page. I agree. I think MK Ultra gets the win. Got to represent for Masha, fellow New Yorker. Represent for Masha. So yeah, Masha and Killer Kelly, they just have been rolling as Knockouts tag team champions. Another title match here, which I'm just warning people, this could be good, this could be bad. Chris Sabin will defend the Impact X Division Championship against Kenta. When I saw this match on paper, and I was like, man, that should be a great matchup. In 2007, this is 2023, and If you're excited about this matchup, you probably haven't seen Kenta in 2023. But I think that if they stick to it being a Chris Sabin match, Chris Sabin has been one of the more consistent in-ring performers for Impact in 2023, and just winning back the X Division Championship. Who you got here?
Give Kenta 5 minutes with Will Ospreay before you bring in Chris Sabin, and then you'll have a great match. Because Will Ospreay is out here. He's basically the recovery project for a bunch of wrestlers. Did it with Kenta in the G1. He's gonna do it with Edward Edwards at Turning Point, because everyone's like, Edward Edwards, what the hell is this? And then other people were like, nah, he's gonna bring out Noah Edward Edwards. And I'm like,
he said it. He said it on Press Pass yesterday. He was like, I don't want this Eddie Edwards. I want the Noah.
And Eddie's probably like, all right, I'll leave my wife at home and I'll just do the thing. Let's go. And that's fine. I'm going to enjoy the hell out of that match. I do love that Ospreay gets everybody's losing feud scraps. So good for Will Ospreay. Between Kenta and Sabin, okay, I see Sabin retaining. I do. There's another universe, and people are going to hate me for this. Kenta wins the X Division Championship. What's the match that everyone was waiting to see at Forbidden Door, SB3?
Kenta versus CM
CM Punk comes out, and CM Punk says, I want that match. And Kenta says, give me the bag. And he says, the bag will be January 4th in the Tokyo Dome. Impact and New Japan break up a new partnership, and it's Punk and Kenta in the Dome for the X Division title. New life for Impact Wrestling.
Wow. I was gonna wait till the end to ask, where do you think we get the surprise? And is it CM Punk? And you just put it out there. You think it's Punk, and you think he's going after Kenta for the X Division Championship.
He's gonna show up with the old TNA Legends title, and he's gonna take out a can of spray paint, put a big X on it, and he's gonna be like, this is my X Division title. And we're off to the races.
He's like, I own this title. He still got the AEW title with the X on it. He was like, I never gave it back. Oh man, that would be I would roll. I would roll. If Joel Pearl, if you get this right, I will roll. I'm gonna go with Chris Sabin though. I'm gonna go with Chris Sabin because it works into my booking for later in the show. So I'm gonna go with Chris Sabin, but I absolutely love your booking. I honestly want that to happen more than I want my prediction to happen. You have stunned people in the chat. Myron Rickett says, wow.
Yes.
And Marcus says, if New Japan Pro Wrestling works with Impact because of CM Punk, Tony Khan would be pissed. They're already working with Impact. That's not Tony Khan can't be pissed. They knew New Japan's working with Impact, and they probably know Impact is trying to get CM Punk.
That's right. They made Yuya Uemura. He wouldn't be just 5 guys. He wouldn't be the Heat Storm, or frig that means, if it wasn't for Joya and Impact Wrestling. Good for Yuya.
He transformed into Heat Storm. It's NXT. Even Kevin Kelly said that's NXT name generator there. Next we got, I think from this point on is where we just got banger after banger after banger. For the Impact Tag Team Championships, we got the Rascals, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz, defending against the ABC, the Ace and Bay Club of Ace Austin and Chris Bay. They were the former champions. They were cost those titles where they lost to Subculture because of the Rascals' interference. The Rascals then cost them the #1 contenders tournament that they went on to win, and they defeated Subculture for the tag team championships. Ever since then, they have been keeping ABC at arm's length away from those titles until Chris Bay won the Feast or Fire briefcase that earned them an opportunity at the tag team championships. I love the fact that Impact has been building to this for months, and it feels like the biggest Impact Tag Team Championship matchup they can have with 2 teams not named the Motor City Machine Guns. So I think that this is going to be an absolute banger for young stars that are just going to be going out there to try to steal the show. Who do you think wins, Joe?
First of all, I want to point out that I love that everyone has a different name for Ace Austin and Chris Bay's tag team, because over on Fightful we call them Ace of Bays,
Yes, I
because
know.
I am a 90s child, if nothing else. With that in mind, I think the Rascals retain. I think that there are some shenanigans. Maybe you bring in Myron Reed a night early because he's scheduled to be on the Fallout. They're going to do a trios match against Black Taurus, Laredo Kid, and Hoovy. SP3, what happens when luchadors face off with other people in Impact Wrestling?
They lose.
Congratulations to the Rascals winning their trios match. But then there's another Bullet Club member that's hanging out backstage, has a match at Bound for Glory. You can do another trios between the Rascals and the Bullet Club. You bring in Kenta, do Ace of Bays with Kenta. There's your 6-man match. But you could do it at Turning Point for all I know. But either way, I do think that this is going to be they're going to retain. I do think that the Rascals are going to retain. There will be shenanigans regardless. There will be no new tag team champions.
I think that this is going to be an absolutely great matchup. I think that the Rascals will try some shenanigans in this matchup, but I think ABC overcomes and become new and 2-time Impact World Tag Team Champions. I just feel like you have to have that one big baby face title change moment, and I think that's going to be it on this show. Next up is the matchup I'm looking forward to the most. No question in my mind, this is going to be the Impact match of the year. Before, when these two men were scheduled to face each other at Multiverse United, Speedball Mike Bailey did an interview with me where he said this could possibly be the greatest wrestling matchup people have ever seen. And it was denied to us at Multiverse United. Now it's on a bigger stage in front of a hot Chicago crowd at Bound for Glory. Will Ospreay makes his return to Impact Wrestling for the first time since 2015, which was a totally different Will Ospreay then. And he faces one of the best wrestlers in the world, Speedball Mike Bailey. These guys, I've said it once, I'll say it before, I'll say it on here on our preview. I think this has the potential to be the greatest Impact Wrestling matchup since AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels versus Samoa Joe at Unbreakable 2005. Who do you think wins?
The makers of the movie Impuritus. They have won. For some reason, this match is the only sponsored match on the card, so
Yes.
I guess you got to pay Will somehow. Will Ospreay wins 100%, but this is going to be a fantastic match. This is the match that everyone's looking forward to. This is the match that the outcome is not in doubt, but the actual match itself is like highly regarded as a dream match, as a big opportunity for both men. Will Ospreay's on a tear. We know that. Speedball continues to be just that unsung hero of wrestling where like nobody dislikes him. He does everything right by all accounts, and he's a likable human being. Every time I've had an interaction with him, it's always pleasant. So I can't say a bad thing about my interactions with him. So I think this is a case where both men have the ability to be elevated regardless of who wins and who loses.
Yeah. I think that if it hits this potential, this is the match that really people will talk about. Speedball Mike Bailey like breaking through and making. I feel like if the match hits its potential, this is the type of matchup that people will go, "Oh, you need to watch that Impact Wrestling pay-per-view. You need to watch that Will Ospreay versus Speedball Mike Bailey matchup." And it feels like we keep saying that a lot about Will Ospreay. I was telling people just a few days ago, "Oh, you need to see that Will Ospreay versus Zack Sabre Jr. matchup." And the month he's had has just been ridiculous. It's been ridiculous the last month, from the Yota Tsuji matchup to what he's done this month in October with facing Zack Sabre Jr. Then this matchup here, it's going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to it. But of course, yes, Will Ospreay is going to win, but this is going to be the best match of the night. I don't know if Will Ospreay will be the number one contender for the Impact World Championship, but we will ask that question in a bit here. But first up, we have for the Impact Knockouts World Championship, Trinity will defend against Mickie James. Mickie James was the champion earlier this year. After the last rodeo, she defeated Jordan Grace at Hard to Kill and held on to that title and defended it until she got injured with a rib injury in February and was forced to relinquish the title. She made her return at Impact 1000 to a different Impact Knockouts World Champion, because it was now Trinity who defeated Deonna Purrazzo back at Slammiversary to earn the championship, and she has been the face of the Knockouts division ever since then. This feels like a big time Knockouts World Championship matchup as well here. Who you got winning?
I think Mickie James is going to win. I also think that Mickie James is going to cheat to win. I also think Mickie James is turning heel at Bound for Glory, because it is time for that character to level up, to evolve. And I gotta put her over, because I always will. Trinity, the decision for her to come to Impact has been the best decision she's ever made, because she had other places vying for her. She picked Impact for whatever reason she did, but she has been used perfectly. She has been situated really well. She is working, and I'm not just saying, like, she is doing it right, and her stock has gone up. Her losing to Mickie James in this case would do nothing wrong, especially if Mickie cheats to win. You set up a rematch down the line, and on top of that, Trinity's going to the UK. She'll be part of those shows. There's a lot to be done with Trinity moving forward without the title, as much as there is with the title, because eventually you're going to get that fatigue of Trinity. Oh, Trinity wins. Okay. They did the match with Lisha Edwards, and that was kind of a storyline stupid match, which I liked it because it broke up the Trinity's just going to have a banger type of match. It made a different story out of it. But this is the match where I think Mickie James is gonna get her way. She's gonna win that match, and we'll still do Trinity and Mickie down the line, maybe in some sort of stipulation match.
That's an interesting proposition as well there. I'm going to go with Trinity retaining. I like your booking, but I just feel like it might not be the place here. I think we're going to get a traditional babyface versus babyface matchup with Trinity picking up the win. But hey, I will once again roll if Joel Pearl is right about his booking, because I like the way you think, sir. I like the way you think.
Here's the thing with Trinity. We spent so much time wondering how long her contract is with Impact.
That's
Most
true.
people, myself included, assumed that it was going to Bound for Glory, but here she is working the next week at Turning Point, and seemingly for the if she shows up at the Toronto tapings, she's booked for the Mexico shows too.
Yep.
So she's clearly sticking around, and that's a good thing. Again, like, she could go anywhere she wants at any point because she's done really well by the singles run. But again, there's so much more story to tell that includes her not necessarily having the Impact Knockouts Championship. Now could be the time to take it off, have her chase again as a new built woman in this division.
That's fair. That's fair. Finally, we got the main event for Impact Bound for Glory tomorrow night. Impact World Championship up for grabs, as Alex Shelley will defend against the former champion, the walk-in weapon, Josh Alexander. Josh, of course, had to relinquish the title after his bicep injury in April, and it was Steve Macklin who won the title from Kushida at Rebellion, but he soon there lost the title to Alex Shelley, who realized his dream after nearly 20 years in Impact Wrestling, winning the Impact World Championship, and he has defended it with pride. But Josh came out at Slammiversary, said that he was back and coming for the Impact World Championship. And ever since then, we've seen the slow kind of breakdown of Alex Shelley, that paranoia, insecurity of the fact that Josh Alexander had to relinquish the title, and that in a lot of people's mind, he is still should be the champion, or that he is still the face of the company. It has kind of turned Alex Shelley into an unhinged character as of late, and that led to the big sit-down interview on the Go Home show last night, which I thought Alex Shelley did tremendous character work in that whole thing. And I thought that Josh reading him was fantastic. Josh read him like a fucking book. It was great. And then him coming to his locker room to get into that fight, it felt real. It felt believable. It was like, damn. I was like, yeah, they sold this pay-per-view main event very, very well on the Go Home show. Who do you think walks out with the Impact World Championship?
Whoever got both power beats at the end of that segment. Okay, hold on. I'll pull it back for a sec. So I'm a production guy. My background is in production. This was my favorite thing. If you watch that segment, Scott D'Amore's got both of his ear pods in. And then if you notice, you got Alex Shelley wearing something in one ear. And then in the opposite ear, you got Josh Alexander. Those are just power beats earbuds. They just split them up. But this is where I will put it over this for the segment. I love that Scott D'Amore started the segment saying that both men are in the building, but they've been kept apart because they continually get into each other's business and fight. So we're just protecting ourselves from the inevitable. I love that it then turned into the fight, and that Scott had already explained why, they were all in the same room and why like this could have happened. So I do like that. And yes, that segment was really good. Go back and watch that. I'm sure it's on their YouTube channel by now. As to who wins, Shelley's retaining. They've done too much to build this character in such a short amount of time to make him lose, unless he just becomes a more paranoid jerk. But I want paranoid champion Alex Shelley. I don't want paranoid, I lost my title because the machine's against me, because we've seen that's existed in Impact and wrestling a million times. Let's not do that. Let's have the paranoid champion. Josh Alexander gets the next shot. They're going to do 3. Him and Shelley should have 3 matches. First one goes to Shelley. Next one goes to Josh winning the title. And then Josh retains. We blow it off in a cage or something. Whatever it is. Sure, bring back Lockdown. I don't care. Regardless. Just do something to blow it off in the third. And that's when we'll get to Macklin and Josh. That can happen at Slammiversary, Macklin and Josh. That's a long time from now. You can do it at Hard to Kill if you really want to just spend the rest of your year. But it doesn't feel that way. It feels like Impact kind of, until they do whatever they're doing with their production, it feels like everything's just kind of getting pushed into the new year. But I feel like Shelley retains. Alexander continues to chase. He wins the next round. He then defends one more time successfully against Shelley. And then we get to Macklin.
Yeah, I after that segment, I was like, damn. They actually made me change my pick because I was very adamant. I thought Josh Alexander was going to win this, but this new Alex Shelley character is very reminiscent to the paranoid champion that Stone Cold Steve Austin played in 2001, where fans at the time, we didn't appreciate how great that was because it wasn't the Austin that we wanted. So even in the time that it was great, people didn't really appreciate it. I think that this will be an opportunity to have a paranoid champion that we can appreciate because it's Alex Shelley having a long run with the Impact World Championship. And I just feel like Alex Shelley just always plays a better heel than he's played a babyface. So I think that also you get some legs and you can run this back. You don't have to do it like immediately this year. You could run back the rematch with Josh and Shelley at like Hard to Kill, and then that give Josh the moment there.
You want to go to Vegas for Hard to Kill?
I should, right?
I mean, they're going to announce the date hopefully this Saturday at Bound for Glory, and then I'm going to look up plane tickets like an idiot. And then you know what the plan is? The plan is you try to go stay at the Pearl of the Palms, because I am a Pearl, so I have to stay at the Palms where the event is happening at Pearl of the Palms. And then you got to see if you can get a show at the Sphere, the Big Pearl, because I want to go see with the Sphere. That's really what it comes down to. I need an excuse to go to Vegas to go see U2, and then wrestling's happening there too, I guess.
Impact really wants to see U2.
Anything for U2.
Anything for you too. It's a beautiful day. It's
good song.
Gonna be like, what wrestling show is going on? I don't know.
I'll convince Dr. Ross to go to U2 with me if it'll get me a few interviews.
I can see that.
Live and in person.
I see CM Punk coming out after this matchup to stare down with Alex Shelley and say he's coming for the Impact World Championship. I don't see CM Punk showing up here.
Why is everyone going after Shelley after a defense? The first it was Alexander at Slammiversary, so we got to do it again this time with Punk.
This time with Punk. He got that out the way. Now he's gonna be even more paranoid because this guy's around.
Punk just wants a free trip to Vegas. I get it. Big gambling man. That's CM Punk.
Big gambling man. I was just in the neighborhood. I was just backstage. I decided to show up here.
So yes, Jeremy Lambert and I, by the way, we debunked the CM Punk situation. because tomorrow night is the Chicago Blackhawks home opener. And if CM Punk ain't going to be at that hockey game, I don't know where else he's going to be. He could show up at the end of the show. He could. Yeah. But let's face it, he's going to hang out with Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks all night if he can.
I guarantee you the surprise is like someone from Impact Past or something. That's not CM Punk. I don't think that this, I think that the surprise that, yes, it's very timely the way they've done it, but I don't think it's CM Punk. I just don't.
Who was released from NXT this year?
Oh, yeah, let's see who's been released from NXT.
Let's take a look. You know what? GameSpot.com. Show me the releases from NXT.
Show me all the releases from NXT that is past 30 days.
So
I think we are past 30 days too on Saturday.
September 21st. So it will be 30 days. But I don't know if that's midnight or not. I'm trying to look like ain't gonna be Quincy Elliott, tell you that much. Ain't gonna be Shanky. Ulyssa Leon as part of the Hispanic Heritage Month stuff. I'd do that. Because she can do the Mexico taping. She is the daughter of a famous luchador.
There was like no big stars released from NXT that I could like think. Ikemenjiro. That's the big surprise.
He's gonna team up with Kenta.
Jacket Time 2.0.
Where's Kushida?
Yes, Kushida, come back. Let's get in here. We use you more than New Japan anyway. No, he's on the tour. He's on the Super Junior Tag League.
But anyway, there's nothing there from NXT.
Joel Pearl, please let the people know where they can follow you on social media, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. The floor is yours.
SP3, thank you for having me. True Heel Heat is always a fun time. I appreciate y'all. You can find me at Joel Pearl, JOELPEARL. I'm very easy to find. I'm also in the weeds every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10 a.m. Eastern until noon over on Fightful Overbooked. That's our sister channel, youtube.com/Fightful Overbooked. Go check us out. We go in the weeds. Jeremy Lambert and I, we talk about wrestling for 2 hours. We have interviews. We joke around. We get into weird conversations like the ones SP3 and I just had. And sometimes SP3 fills in for myself or Jeremy because the ultimate substitute teacher is the ultimate master of this game. Thank you.
The ultimate substitute teacher. I'm going to get that on a t-shirt, ladies and gentlemen. But you can follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at True Hill Heat. Check out all the great content we got on the channel right now, like our preview earlier this week for NJPW Super Junior Tag League 2023. That's how I remembered Kushida can't be here for Impact Wrestling. Also, for New Japan Pro Wrestling, we did our Royal Quest 3 review earlier this week. And if you like interviews and want to get ready for Bound for Glory, check out True Heel's BTR Between the Ropes with the Walking Weapon. Josh Alexander talking about his huge matchup with Alex Shelley at Bound for Glory. And check out our latest interview, True Heel's BTR Between the Ropes with Giselle Shaw, talking about the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, talking about the UK Invasion Tour, plus much, much more. Thank you to Joel Pearl. Thank you to all of you for joining us live, watching us on demand. We appreciate all of y'all. Remember to drop the thumbs up on the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you are new. This has been our Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory 2023 preview. We are signing off until next time.